Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Haunting of Bly Manor. The story tells of a young girl who's hired by a man to look after his niece and nephew at the family country house after they fall into his care. Arriving at the Bly estate, she begins to see apparitions that proceed to haunt their premises. I was so excited for this show, and Hill House, the season before, was my favorite show of that year. That it's actually my top 3 Netflix original shows because I just think it's near perfect. It's so good, and as a horror fan, I think Mike Flanagan nailed it there. And yeah, when I heard that they were doing an anthology, I got really excited because I think anthologies are great. I mean, American Horror Story does it and they do a really good job with it, and I think here they're starting to do a great job, and moving forward I hope that they do more with it because I think the haunting shows are going to be really cool, and I just love seeing different stories come out. I first just want to start talking about how different this is from Hill House because it is a completely different type of show, and I think if you go into it really expecting it to be just like Hill House, it might disappoint you because it kind of took a while for me to get used to it personally, because Hill House I think was very much fast-paced and it was way scarier. I thought Hill House was a very scary show, and just so you guys already know, I do still prefer Hill House over Bly Manor, but I still think Bly Manor is a really good show. But yeah, just not getting used to, because the first episode was definitely there and it was a great like tease as to what was gonna happen, but then there weren't really that many scares. I definitely saw right off the bat in episode 2 it slowed down a little bit, and it was never boring at all, and I was always intrigued to find out what's next. Netflix does a really good job of making their shows be binge worthy because I did binge this, and every time an episode ended I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then it ended and I was like, oh wait, I need to watch this. And then we got to the middle, which was episode 5, which I think is one of my favorite episodes, and I'll talk more about that later on, and I was like, wait, this is still really good, and it's a really good show, and I'm very happy to be talking about it. I also want to say that this review will not contain any spoilers. I'm gonna try to be very vague because I know the show came out recently and I don't just want to give out spoilers to you guys, so if you haven't seen the show, you're still free to watch this review because I will not be giving away anything, and that goes for the comment section. Please try not to give spoilers, and if you do give spoilers, put a spoiler warning just so people know when they go down in the comments that there might be spoilers. But yeah, let's get to it. The characters of this show were amazing, and I think that's definitely my favorite part because I love that I got to know each of them, and they were each given pretty much an episode, I would say. And yeah, we do follow Danny, who's our lead character, which she's an amazing character, and I'll get more into that. But really, each of the episodes focuses on somebody else. Like, it can focus on the little boy Miles, it focuses on Hannah, it focuses on Peter Quint, it focuses on Rebecca, it focuses on different characters that we've only seen glimpses of, and it really helped both develop the character and develop the story, and I really enjoyed that. I will say though, some episodes felt less important than others. If you took out a certain episode, it would have been fine, like the storyline would have still continued, and that's where I think it got a little bit more slow for me because I realized that what they were saying and when they were developing wasn't really gonna go anywhere. Like, there was a plot line where somebody had a doppelganger and that would just follow them, and I thought that was very interesting and very creepy, but I don't really think it led to anything at the end. But I think they did a really good job in just developing each of the characters on their own. I do wish we would have gotten to see more of Owen because I really liked his character and everything he brought, and he was also great at acting, and I really enjoyed him. I do wish we would have gotten to see more. And I think my favorite is probably Hannah and Jamie. I think are my favorite characters. I really liked them. Jamie was really funny and she brought the comedic relief, but she was still good at being serious, and her relationship with Danny was also great, and that's another thing this show does really well. It makes these relationships between characters very realistic and awesome because you have relationships with parents, with siblings, friends, with lovers, and it all makes it seem so realistic, and I think that that's the beauty of the show because it's so realistic it can make it seem even scarier. And similar to Hill House, Mike Flanagan is really good at making a ghost story much more than a ghost story because this one is very much more of a romance, and I would even go far to say a gothic romance because it has a lot of those gothic elements, and it's a very tragic love story in a lot of ways, and it deals with love in different types of way, and I really enjoyed seeing that, and not just seeing like one specific type of relationship but a lot of them, and I think they did an awesome job in that regard. And the acting is stellar in this show, and especially when you get to the people that were in Hill House that switch over, play completely different characters in Bly Manor. That's why I love anthology so much, because you get get these same actors playing completely different roles, and you get to really see the range. Like, for example, our lead character here, last season she played Nellie, which was actually my favorite character that season, along with Luke, who also came back for this season. Oliver Jackson-Cohen came back, and now he plays Peter Quint, and I hated Peter Quint. Loser. And like, you're not rooting for this guy at all, but it's funny because in the last season, like, I wanted Luke to, you know, have a better life and stuff. So you see them play completely different roles, and there's also accent changes, especially like Peter Quint has an accent, and we also get Henry Thomas has an accent here, and he was also in the last season. I think he's amazing. He's not an actor I see around anymore, and I think he's so talented that he definitely should be in more stuff. And you have other actors play different characters from last season, especially Victoria. She did such a good job playing Danny, and I hope she gets nominated for some awards because she was really that good. And she was a very interesting lead character as well, because her story was awesome and everything that they did with her was amazing, and how we got to know about her past through this reflection she kept seeing in the mirror, and it was just outstanding. Also, we really got to understand how caring she was and how much she cared for these kids. And speaking of Flora and Miles, the acting of both of those kids are amazing. Kid actors are sometimes really like not the best in horror, and they did an amazing job, especially Flora. I loved her. And even Miles, he did an awesome job, because in a lot of scenes he's playing somebody that's not his age, and you can really see that, and it was just amazing. My favorite performance of this show, however, probably has to be Tania Miller. I loved her character. Hannah Gross was an amazing character, and my favorite episode of the show was her episode 5, because I think it was so well told and so well done and edited and written and directed. Everything about this was amazing. And it goes for the entire show. This is a beautifully shot show, and every single scene looks like it could be a screenshot for a wallpaper I would put up in October, because it's so amazing, and the aesthetic of the house and the layout is so awesome. And I really liked how we got to really understand the house and the groundwork, and like, you got to understand how big this place is, but at the same time how small it is, and how many people are really trapped in there. And it's just amazing, like all the shots. And something that the show does really well, and you guys might be surprised, because if you're following my Halloween series, you would know that I've mentioned multiple times that I don't like jump scares, is how well these jump scares are done. And I was gonna put a clip of one, but I don't want to spoil anything. But the jump scares in this season are so good because, one, they're not false, and two, they just get you. I'm gonna be honest, I screamed a couple of times watching the show, because I watched this really late at night after my mom finishes work, because we watched this together, and it's dark outside, and they don't even build the anticipation of a jump scare. There was a certain jump scare where like two characters were just talking, and she just turns around like nothing, like they don't even anticipate it whatsoever, and something pops up, and oh my god, I screamed. And it happens a lot of times. Like, they do such a good job at that, because they don't do the typical, the room gets silent and then boom, a loud sound. And that's what I love so much about them, because they really got me. And although I don't think the show was nearly as scary as Hill House, I think it still had a lot of really scary stuff, and I think it was more sad than scary. And like I was saying, it more dealt with romance, which I really enjoyed. And at first, like I said, it took a little bit getting used to, but once I was really into it, I really liked the relationship that they had, and the way the show was edited was fantastic. Like, I keep going back to episode 5 because I think that one was just so good, and the idea of going back in time and then going forward, because they do a lot of time hopping, a lot going in between different moments, and we also get things from characters' perspectives, which I also really enjoyed. Like, they show a scene with Rebecca and Peter Quint, and then we see it from Hannah's perspective, and it's just like really great, because you really get to understand the scenes a lot more. But I do have to say, I thought the ending was very like satisfying in the way that it tied everything together, and it all completely made sense, because sometimes I was watching it and I'm like, where is this going? And then it ended and I was like, oh, that's good. And speaking of the ending, that ending was very sad and also very good at the same time, and I really loved what they did, and at the same time I hated it, because I really loved all of these characters and got so attached to them. I didn't want anything bad to happen to them at all. And I've also got to talk about episode 8, because it was very fantastic, and it was a completely different style from anything else that the show had done, and you'll see more if you do see the show, because I don't really want to give it away. But that episode was so interesting in itself that I would love for them to do like a mini series on just the story of the characters in that. And I liked that we got backstory to the ghosts in the house. It's so easy to just say, oh, these ghosts are ghosts, they're bad, but we really got to understand these ghosts, and I literally cared for them, and it made the story much deeper and much better at the very end. I absolutely loved the heck out of this show, and I had a blast watching it, and I'm very happy to say that I had a blast watching it, and I'm going to give the show an A-. I am in the mood to rewatch Hill House. I started rewatching it a little bit before the show came out, and then I got interrupted because I was watching so many other movies. So if I do end up finishing rewatching it, I do think I'm gonna make a review out of it, even if it's not for the Halloween series, just in the future, because I really love that show so much. And since it's been out for a while, I would probably do a spoiler review because it's such a good show and there's just so much to talk about. And even with this one, there's so much more I could say, but I just don't want to give you guys spoilers. Let me know what you guys thought about Bly Manor down below. I would really love to hear it, and if you liked it and if you didn't like it. And also, if you've seen Hill House, let me know which one you prefer the most. Like I said, I prefer Hill House, but Bly Manor is a really close second. And thank you guys to all my new subscribers. I now have 180 subscribers, and that makes me really happy that you guys are enjoying my videos and hitting that subscribe button and then coming back and watching my other videos. It really means a lot. And with that in mind, if you guys have not subscribed and you're new here, please click that subscribe button because it'll really help out my channel, and you can see all of my other videos in your subscription boxes because I am posting daily for the month of October. And yeah guys, I think that'll be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll make sure to see you guys next time. Bye guys!